Welcome back to Takeout Political Panel Time. Let me introduce Democratic strategist Lori Watkins, Republican strategist Mark Bednar. Great to have you both here. So Zoran Mamdani and the president hung out. Welcome back to Takeout Political Panel Time. Welcome back to Takeout Political Panel Time. Let me introduce Democratic strategist Lori Watkins. Welcome back to Takeout Political Panel Time. Let me introduce Democratic strategist Lori Watkins, Republican strategist Mark Bednar. Great to have you both here. So Zoran Mamdani and the president hung out again. And all week in New York, there's been this internet conversation about the snowball fight and the police are really upset about that. I was so waiting for the president to jump on that, but he didn't. He keeps giving Zoran Mamdani a lot of free passes. How do you assess that?
Well, hanging out, I think, is a really great way to put it. Like that's part of the Trump coalition. You're expanding, into unlikely opportunities, unlikely alliances, and I think it's really kind of putting to rest, at least for now, kind of the predictions, the sugar rush at the time when a lot of Republicans predicted that Mamdani is going to be the face of Republican attack ads in the fall.
Right.
And I think
that sort of died down, hasn't it?
Immediately. And if you're a Republican-leaning voter who's not sure if you're going to jump in the midterms, if you know who Mamdani is, you're already coming out to vote.
Right.
And so I think that this is an opportunity for the president. It's an opportunity for the country. It's an opportunity for New York. And so we'll see where it goes.
Lori?
So when you saw Mamdani call him a builder, right? Trump a builder. I thought this was a masterclass in being able to take a person with narcissistic tendencies and use narcissistic fluffing to be able to turn that interaction around to get what you want. He got him to agree to release an ICE detained victim from a center. Right, exactly. And he also cajoled him into supporting $21 billion towards a 12,000 apartment unit housing project in Queens. So I would say that Mamdani had more of a win than Donald Trump did.
And it probably didn't hurt to talk about Queens with President Trump.
Right, but he is a builder, though.
He was born. Right. So we like to remember on the show things that are said that are meaningful at a time in the future. And we have a classic incident of that. In December, NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman was here, and we talked about his ambitious plans to send U.S. astronauts to the moon. Listen what he said in December. 2028, United States astronauts back on the moon. Is that aspirational or a guarantee?
Oh, I'm looking to pull those timelines in. The president says we got to return American astronauts by 2028, but we're just months away from sending American astronauts around the moon for the first time in more than a half a century. We're going to do everything we can to pull in those timelines.
Your host was onto something, aspirational, because it was an aspiration, but it's not going to be realized. NASA announced that today. Here's part of what the administrator said about what is going to happen instead.
We're gonna rightfully put our energy towards Artemis 2. There's a lot to learn from that. Believe it or not, the experiences of that crew, what they learn, what they may find, could inform the crew we select for Artemis 3. So we're going to focus on Artemis 2. We're going to get that crew back safely. We're going to learn from it, and then we're going to move on to Artemis 3.
Artemis 2 is a low Earth orbit around the Earth to test some things out before sending them to go around the moon in orbit, come back, before going there to land. My only point about all this is you can be gung-ho, and you can have Trump time, but there are realities, and there are safety checks, and you don't want to foul this up.
Of course. And but how refreshing is it that we have an administration that is aspirational and ambitious while also being realistic? Juxtapose that with, when we had astronauts languishing in space for months in the previous administration. So now that we're getting
at the International Space Station.
Right. But so now that we're getting back on with our right footing, and you want to bunch up these missions so that you have better certainty, better frequency in a shorter amount of time rather than spacing them out. It's a good idea.
Yeah. But Laura, even when last December, the reason I asked that question was plenty of scientists were saying, you're not going to make it. It's not ready.
No, and what is very interesting to me, and I don't understand, I worked on the commercialization of space in the Obama administration, and I don't know why they're using more than 20-year-old technology on the Artemis when Doge efficiency, for example, right? Where's that come into play? Did you know that Speaker Johnson invited all 4 of those crew members to the State of the Union the other night? And notice that President Trump didn't speak about that mission once. All he talked about was Space Force and the fact that it costs $4.1 billion for one mission to land on the moon. When we can do that, half the cost, it's much more safer, it's much more efficient, and it's going to cost a lot less. And I don't know why they're choosing to go this route. I don't know, maybe there's contracts being handed out, but if I was a member of Congress, I would haul Isaacman in front of Congress and ask him to enlighten us on this. He's managing this program. Why is there all these delays? Why is it costing so much? And why are you choosing to use horse and buggy type technology when we're in the steam engine era here?
I'm going to give
it doesn't make sense.
30 seconds to respond to that.
It's space, getting back to the moon. It's worth getting it right. Like President Trump, he wants to put on a show. He wants to display, America's might for the whole world.
He wants to go to Mars.
And he wants to go to Mars, right? So it's worth getting right. And so if there's a slight delay, and make sure that we have an excellent mission, it's worthwhile.
But to Lori's point, now we know why there was no mention of it in the State of the Union, because they knew this was coming. They probably got some internal flags.
That it wasn't going to work. I'm on emails, okay, Major, and I get these from Artemis is Lockheed Martin, right? I get emails that go into details about safety issues.
Lori, that's going to have to be it. Lori Watkins, great to have you here. Thanks so much. Mark Bednar, also great to have you here.